Excellent.
Thanks, everyone. All right, we got a nice crowd here. Let's hear it from you guys so they can hear you on Twitter and on YouTube. Let's go.
All right, here we go. Got a great crowd, great event. Happy to be here.
All right, and now the fun ends. No, so, Dennis, let me start with this.
Yes.
You have 4.6 million customers in 21 states.
Yes.
You touch a lot of consumers.
Yes.
What is the vibe right now? Are people feeling good, or are they looking at what's happening in the economy and starting to think about canceling or downsizing?
You know, people are very concerned about their monthly expenses. We have been looking at launching an income-constrained product for a few months now. And so we did some consumer research and we asked customers what are their concerns, what are they focused on, and over 75% of the folks that we surveyed said that they had concerns about their monthly expenses. Our most recent survey on mobile said that over 50% price is the primary consideration when they're choosing a mobile provider. And so it's up to us now to pull together products and packages and offers that meet our customer needs. They are looking for quality and they are looking for value, but they have to have pricing value that meets their needs.
Right. Have you seen that change at all since Liberation Day? Is there a little bit more wariness among the consumer now?
You know, it's still only a few weeks and we're continuing to learn every day. But this is something that has been an issue in 24 and carries into 25. And I imagine this as a headwind. And so we're continuously looking at how do we evolve how we go to market and the offers that we put in front of customers so that we can provide them great quality and great value.
Let me ask you this. In an economic downturn, do people get rid of cable or do they keep it because that's the only thing that they want to do because they don't want to spend on anything else?
Well, I mean, there's a couple pieces. You know, we have broadband, we have video, we have mobile. And so folks, need broadband more than ever. The reality is that children are doing their homework, people are working for telemedicine, staying connected to their to their family. And so we're seeing that folks are staying connected, but they're looking for value. And so they're looking at how they can optimize, broadband and mobile in particular. And so as we start to talk to our customers, they are looking for providers that are able to provide both and be able to provide discounts that meet their needs. And so that is a topic of conversation more and more. And I imagine as we continue into this year, we're going to have to continue to meet our customer needs.
So we're here talking about the future of connectivity. And when I think about the future of connectivity, the thing that comes up is satellite internet. When I think about the future, thinking about what Elon Musk is doing with Starlink and others are doing with satellite internet leads me to wonder whether the current broadband infrastructure we have today will become unnecessary in the face of rising satellite internet consumption. How do you think about it? Is Elon your competitor now?
I mean, one, it's incredible what Elon has done, right? I mean, you have to, the innovation and the speed at which they're moving, it's incredible. The reality is that while we are building out our network and continuing to enhance our speeds, and now we have multi-gig services across the country in many places, and we're going to continue to roll that out, there are places that are very difficult to reach. It would cost us tens of thousands of dollars. They're very challenging. And at least today, when I look at what they're able to do, is they're able to meet the needs. And everybody needs broadband. And so we're an advocate of that. At the same time, the needs of speed and reliability and availability continue to evolve. The needs from 10 years ago versus today have changed dramatically. I remember when I was starting out in the industry, 100 gigs of data consumption was like a big deal. Now I have folks that are over a terabyte or multiple terabytes. And so we are investing to make sure that we can build the absolute best network to drive innovation, to drive creativity, and we'll continue to work alongside these types of technologies as different customers have different needs.
So if I'm reading between the lines right, Starlink, van life people living off grid, you're providing for the folks who are in bigger metro areas.
I don't know I don't know if they're living in vans or off the grid, but they're living in places that are difficult for us to serve. But, folks are testing and trialing different technologies. The other technology that's available is fixed wireless from the telco providers. That has gained a lot of traction. That's a wireless service. Many people have tried that, and some find that it's good enough, and some find that it's not good enough, especially when you have more and more streaming, video conferencing, just heavy usage. People have to figure out what makes sense for them. You have, I know for my family with 2 teenage girls, they're never looking at the TV. They're looking at their iPad, they're consuming video in ways that I could have never imagined. And so every family has to decide what products and services and value propositions meet their needs.
So again, thinking about the future of connectivity.
Yes.
I wonder what you're working on, because in a lot of areas, the internet is fast enough. Mm-hmm. I don't think that a little bit better speed makes a difference in terms of where you want to end up going in terms of selecting your provider. So is it just a race to the bottom on cost, or is your North Star making the internet faster when you're talking about connectivity? What are you working toward?
We're continuously working on quality. First and foremost, the pain that I personally experience when there is a blip in the internet in my house, okay? I acutely feel that pain, and I'm sure every parent and every spouse, feels that pain. The world is ending. And so we are working hard to make sure that nobody has to have that moment, and that we minimize those moments for my own personal sanity as well. And so first and foremost, it just has to work. And AI is incredible, helping us really look at how we manage that technology even more strategically, communicate more effectively so that customers know what's happening, why it's happening, when are we going to fix it, and just keep them informed. There's things that we can prevent. We can do proactive maintenance. We can't prevent somebody from running into our head end and setting it on fire. So when that happens, we need to tell you what happened and then make sure that we're reacting.
That happens?
Quickly. Things happen.
Okay.
There's lots of things that happen that cause an outage. Some things that we can get ahead of, and some things that are just natural, events. Then we have to react. And so, I do believe that it's our responsibility to continue to drive quality and speed and make the absolute best network available to folks that can then innovate on top of it. And so if I knew what those innovations were, I would have another job. But I want to make these networks available to people that can then use that speed, use that quality to now build applications on top, things that I can't even imagine.
So you talked earlier when you talked about where satellite might come in, about those areas that are really remote. And there's been this conversation around the digital divide, where some people that live in cities, for instance, have great access to the internet, and others don't. How real is the digital divide right now?
I've been in this space for some time, and I've spent time with our community partners at Boys and Girls Clubs, at food banks, at folks that are working with various constituents. And the digital divide is real. One is the access, and one is education. And so we're working with our community partners to provide both. As we work with the Boys and Girls Club to provide computer labs and connectivity, as we work with, in New York City, the Big Apple Connect, they have over 70,000 homes that we're able to provide connectivity to. And so I do think it's important not only to provide access, but to provide education on how to leverage that connectivity, whether it's for schoolwork, whether it's for work. I view it as, I still remember my father, worked in public transit authority. He fixed trains. This door knocker came, door salesman, and he brought a set of Encyclopedia Britannica, okay? And my father, without a lot of money, bought the Encyclopedia Britannica, and I thought he was crazy. And guess what? For the next 15 years, I used that almost every day. And when I was talking to the children and working with our community partners, the internet is that Encyclopedia Britannica. Every child deserves to have access to that information to do their homework. And so this is a critical part of our mission, is to provide connectivity in every community that we serve, and we're partnering with those that are on the ground to make that access available.
Okay, so we're coming towards a close here. I want to ask you about the value of connectivity. Now, obviously, there's a lot of good things you can do with internet, but we also are living in a moment where people are lonelier than ever before. You know, Bowling Alone that talked about how we've left our bowling leagues and now we're at home. The reason was television, and TV is amazing right now.
Yes.
It's very good.
It's more content than ever.
Is that good though? Because we're more lonely than we've ever been. How do you think about that?
You know, I think everything in moderation.
But people aren't good at being.
It's
called binge for a reason.
You know, when I look at the rise of user-generated content, when I look at the tech companies now entering this space, the reality is that we have a bit of content bloat. When you look at the traditional cable packages, there's a lot of content that's great, but then there's a lot of content that's bundled in that nobody ever watches. And so our mission is to provide the products and the services that allow you to watch the content that you want to watch the way you want to watch it. There are still folks in our customer base that like traditional cable TV experience, but they don't want all the extra content that they don't watch. And so we're working.
But the question is really about what's going on with our society. Mm-hmm. You don't think that contributes at all? Or does a content provider have any responsibility?
Our responsibility is to provide our customers with the content that they want to watch, how they want to watch it. And we're laser focused on making sure we maximize the product and the value. And look, I do believe that connectivity, human connectivity is important. And I do believe that there's a lot of value in that. Part of what we've done in our own workforce is have a more balanced approach of being in the office to have human connectivity. At the same time, people are looking for entertainment.
Right.
And we want to provide that entertainment to people in the way they want to watch it.
All right, well, we're here together. We're also speaking to people on the internet, so a little bit of the best of both worlds. Let's give it up for Dennis, and thank you, everybody. You've been amazing.
Thank you so much. All right, thank you, my friend. Great.